Okay, so before we get started, two things. First up, I want to thank everyone for the kind words about that bit I did 2 weeks ago on the Generation Duels thing. That is some very pent up emotions I've had for years about a lot of players. And also, I do love to do comedy stuff, and keep a lookout. Maybe there's some more comedy coming on the way on this channel. We'll wait and see about that. And number two, I missed last week's episode. Did anything interesting happen in that episode? Was anything relevant to the plot? Could I easily have spent 25 minutes of my life just sitting there eating Doritos? Yes! So let's just talk about this week's. So this week, it is Yuya versus Bland Q-Tip Man, aka Edo Phoenix. Okay, look, if there are any Edo Phoenix fans out there, please tell me if this is a good adaptation of the character for this series, because honestly, I really can't tell. I don't remember a ton about him. I just remember him kind of being the typical sort of used and manipulated, then goes against the used and manipulated, but it doesn't matter because he loses and Jane had to save the day anyways type character. But honestly, I really don't care for the way he's used in this. He's just a very generic baddie McBad guy type character. With all the other characters who have been brought in from previous Yu-Gi-Ohs, I felt like each one has been given a character and a personality. Even if they didn't get as much time or development as other ones, I always felt like each one was given enough time to get to know them and to understand them as characters, rather you saw their original series or not. Jack, Crow, Alexis, Kaito, all four of them, though done differently each one, has felt like a complete character. Aster just feels like this is an overly bloated cameo. Again, maybe that's what the character basically was in GX. I don't really remember, but again here, he's really not that interesting. And just in general, these past two episodes haven't been very interesting. When Jack went to finally fight Yuya went to go duel Jack, I legitimately was excited to see what was going to happen. When these two start dueling, I'm just like, meh. Okay, there isn't really a ton of drama here, and it sucks because there are a couple of neat ideas at play here. I like the scene. It looked cheesy and ridiculous at first when Yugioh beats Edo, and Edo is like holding on to like, no, it can't be true. It is having fun while playing card games. No, it can't be. But then you see that part of it is that during the duel, he did crack a smile. He did get a little excitement, and that does go against what he's been told to believe, as he's been told to believe dueling is a weapon. It's a tool. This is what he's been brainwashed to think, and for a split second, that whole thing is taken away from him. Again, it is a little cheesy. I won't say it isn't, but I actually buy it for the context of what is a Yu-Gi-Oh type series. It is a neat idea that there's just this inner instinct that kicks in that says that this is wrong, and where for Alexis it was able to be in the forefront of her mind, for Edo it isn't. He's probably just been so screwed up over the years by the professor that it influences him so much that the mere idea of something being different and that there is a part of him that can agree with that difference scares him. I think that's a neat idea. It doesn't get nearly enough time. And this gets into my problem with last week's filler episode. I've said it with many anime and I've said it with Yu-Gi-Oh! In the past. I don't mind filler if in that time we get something interesting. Rather, we spend time with the characters, get to know elements that can't be developed because of the main plot, or just give us an interesting like comedy 25 minutes or anything like that. But that's not what last week was. It was just this generic duel, and it was just get Shun out of commission for no real reason because Edo's beef is with Yuya. So honestly, why didn't we spend last week on Edo? Why not spend 25 minutes showing how driven he is? Getting an idea of just how intense academia is to these kids when he gets control of them. I thought a lot of that could have been really done, and you could have done a lot to give us more of an emotional stake into this duel. I really don't care. I know Yuya is not going to lose, and honestly, the new Destiny heroes are just kind of boring. I don't know, I was not around in the competitive scene when Destiny heroes were a thing, but I know how powerful they were at the time, so to see Destiny heroes get support and it be this boring, especially at least where the Blackwing support was at least enough to make the deck interesting, and the Cyber Angels are broken, this is just kind of there. The duel is also just kind of there. It's just kind of the generic Yuya busts out a new monster. Again, I don't know where this dragon came from. I don't know where half the crap Yuya uses come from, but then it's gone. I'm sure it will come back and win the duel next episode, but just kind of whatever. And then we get to the Tyler sisters and this weird button pusher guy. What are they even there for? With the Tyler sisters, you're now breaking the narrative you just enforced with Edo. Why is Edo so brainwashed that he can't even accept the idea of fun while dueling? But whichever one of these two sisters is just like, go Yuya, entertain us, make us feel happy. One duel was enough to convince lifelong psychotic killers to just abandon all that and just be happy? Like, what the hell? Again, it's not a bad idea, but it needed more build-up, and it just feels like we're getting kind of a rushed sort of thing here. And even the whole thing with Yugioh, where Yugioh's now back to being like, no, we can't care about your entertainment dueling. I just let you completely use your wacky personality to beat the Tyler sisters, but now that we're on this guy and my method didn't beat him last time, we gotta go right back to my method. The back and forth isn't here because we've taken away all of the drama to it because he's already accepted Yuya's dueling here in his own world. Pretty much every emotional investment you could get right now just isn't there. Like, the coolest part of the whole episode was just watching Kaito beat people just because it's fun to watch Kaito be a murderer. But other than that, there really just wasn't anything that interesting. Again, there's some exciting stuff and some good ideas. I just don't really get anything out of this one. But who knows? Maybe next week can fix all this. Maybe we'll get some more Yugioh stuff, I hope. But what did you think? In the comments section below, give me your thoughts on this episode. And as for today's TCG question of the week, I don't know if any of you saw, but YCS Columbus, which I think is the last YCS before Nats happened this weekend. And one thing I thought was very interesting was in the top, I forget what the cut number was, there was a lot of Pendulum players. I was surprised. Extract Monarchs and PK Fire were huge. Not a ton of Cosmo, or at least compared to what I think a lot of people were expecting. What do you think that says about the meta, especially with Nats right around the corner? I want to know what you think about that. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe because maybe things will get more exciting next week.